Today on the Stay at Home Chef, I'm showing you how to make homemade hamburger buns. I love doing things like making my own homemade hamburger buns. Homemade is just always better, and these buns are no exception. They make for one killer burger. To start, you'll need 2 tablespoons of sugar, 2½ teaspoons of instant yeast, and 1½ teaspoons of salt. Then you'll need 1 cup of warm milk, and you want it so it's just warm to the touch. I warm mine in the microwave for about 45 seconds. Pour the milk in with the yeast, sugar, and salt, and also add in ½ cup of water. Since I'm using instant dry yeast, no proofing is required. If you want to use regular yeast, then you'll use the same amount, but you'll need to let this mixture sit for 10 minutes to let the yeast proof. Then add in 1/4 cup of melted butter, and then 4 cups of all-purpose or bread flour. The amount of flour that you need in bread making always varies just a little bit, so start with less than you think that you need, and then you can always add more later. Then we can go ahead and get this mixing. You want the dough to be tacky but not sticky enough to stick to your hands, so add enough flour to achieve that consistency. I always go by touch. You can tell that the dough is tacky, but it doesn't stick to my fingers. Then we're gonna take the dough and transfer it to a lightly greased large mixing bowl, and I like to rub it in the oil and then turn it over so that it's coated with oil. And cover it with a towel, and then let it rise until it's double in size, which will take about 1 hour. After an hour, you wanna turn your dough out onto a clean countertop and divide it into 12 pieces. You want each piece to be fairly even, so you can either eyeball it, or if you want to be totally accurate, you can weigh each piece on a kitchen scale. Then you want to roll each piece into a ball. I just form my hand into a cupping shape and roll each piece between the palm of my hand and the countertop. Once you have them all rolled out into balls, you'll want to take each dough ball, and then I just use my hand to flatten it out into a disc shape. This will be the size of your bun. Now, the best part about making homemade hamburger buns is that if you want to make a giant burger, then you just maybe make only 6 dough balls for this and make 6 giant hamburger buns. Or if you want to make sliders, you could make 24 and just make them a little bit smaller. Then you'll want to place them all onto a lightly greased baking sheet. Next, I want these to have a nice shiny top, so I'm going to take 1 egg and whisk it together with 1 tablespoon of water. This is called an egg wash, and you want to whisk it really well until you get little bubbles that form on top and it's nice and frothy. Once you have that all whisked, you'll take a brush and just brush the top of each bun with that egg wash. This will give a nice shiny finish to the top of our buns. Now, if you wanted to make sesame seed buns, you just sprinkle some sesame seeds right on top. Then we're gonna bake these in a 400-degree oven for about 12 minutes, or until the tops are lightly browned. You want these to cool completely before you slice them open and make your burger. These will also stay good frozen for about a month. Thanks for watching. You can find the full written recipe in the video description. Be sure to subscribe, like, and follow, and check out the rest of my videos, where you can find hundreds of restaurant quality recipes you can easily make at home. See you later.